Greetings again. This is Dr. Bill White with the American Orthodontic Society, and I'd like to discuss a case here that's got a lot of things to learn in it. It's a young man who's class 3, and go over the problems that made this guy have a class 3, and also to take to be careful not to neglect the genetics this young man has. So I think we ought to look at the parents on these cases. Every one of them, we look at the parents on there. So let's get into this, and I'll try to show it as quick as we can, but there's several very interesting things to learn in this particular case right here. This is a young man. This is back in 1997 here, and this is a neat little kid. And you look at him; he's a great guy, but you have to look at his teeth to really see what's wrong here. Now, here he is. He has a anterior crossbite and a near crossbite back in the sides. On both sides are a little too close. And here this is out in front of quite a bit. Now, a mouth breather can cause this to happen. Usually, the mouth breather will be a lot wider on the back on the sides where the tongue presses out the tissue like that, and you can have them all sorts of ways. So the tongue can be pressing forward and going underneath here and shoving these teeth out. Now, he can also be a genetic case. In other words, look at the parents of this child before you started. Mother, father, and anybody in the family that's got a real raunchy class 3 problem, then he's probably got more genetics than you think. So we're going to go in and try to correct this, where we're not doing anything, taking any teeth out or doing anything other than just trying to advance the maxilla now with a lip bumper, and also we'll have a lip bumper. I think we use a lip bumper and a reverse headgear to clear this up and get him on the right side. Now, if it's a real genetic case, it's going to relapse, and it'll be something you'll have to come in and work on later on. So just tell the parents that, it's something he's going to have to face, or they'll have to face later on. All right, let's go. Just looking at it from the sides, you can see it's just sitting straight in there on the deciduous teeth, and he's got a crossbite right in the anterior part of the mouth, the whole thing going across, and both sides of the back. Now, as we open his mouth and look in, you can see the other problems that he has, and he can't get these teeth behind. Now, you check with the kids when you do this, see how far they can shove their jaw forward and how far they can go back. Some people will fool you. They come in there biting like this, but they can bring their teeth right back underneath. So try seeing how far he can get out. Now, this is about as far as he could go with his jaw. He couldn't get it any further than that. So we're going to need to take this portion and come forward with it. And so in this case, we're going to use a kind of a reverse headgear that fits on the chin and on the forehead also, and we pull the maxilla forward. But we're going to do a palatal expansion in here so that we can widen this whole thing out like that as we come forward with it. I hope I can explain this where you can understand. There's just a lot of stuff to learn in a case like this. All right, the teeth are ground down, so he's moved them over, or somebody's tried to grind the teeth off. Sometimes they'll do that to where they can slip them past, but it's not going past like that. Now these are permanent teeth down here in the bottom, and I think that's just laterals coming in down on that portion of it. There's just a lot to know on a case like this. And here, and we did another little trick. We put a pad of acrylic down here back in the back, and I think we got something over here, and that kind of opens the bite and allows us to push the teeth over. In other words, we need to kind of open it like this and now push on it to get it forward in that fashion. Now let's see. Okay, there that pad is. I think he had one on both sides, but there, that one is gone over on the other side. Now, we went in, and where the tongue widened the mandible out. In other words, if you're a mouth breather, you got the tongue in the bottom arch, just virtually all the time you're breathing, and you would think the tongue wouldn't widen it out, but it does. It'll widen it. So we went in, we put a palatal separator in on this young man, and when we put it in, it had a big gap like that, and now it's got a gap like this, and we're shoving this section. We've got bands on these two teeth. That's up here. These cuspids don't matter too much. They don't have too much of a root on them. But we're going apart with this, and to correct the from the side. So we're using a palatal separator to reverse what the tongue didn't do by him breathing properly. If you keep your mouth closed and you swallow, and you have an adult swallow pattern, the tongue will push the whole thing out. That's why anybody's teeth are torqued properly that grew up in, and without any problems in there. The nature does this. Now this is a reverse headgear, and you need to understand how to use this headgear. It has a chin cup. This goes over it, and then they have some bars that go up and come wrong side up here, and then come across the forehead. So it pushes back on the forehead and back on the mandible, and then we put the palatal separator up there, and we come off with these rubber bands. Now you adjust this right here so that where the rubber band coming from the palatal separator goes through the lips where the lips are normally positioned. You don't want to have the rubber band in there pushing down on this way or up this way. You need to run right through where the lips close here. And then this will pull this maxilla forward, and it kind of holds the chin back some in that fashion too. So this case has a lot to learn in it. And this is why, and you should get in and do these when you first see them. Go ahead and do the correct the problem, because it'll be worse later on. But make sure you look at the genetics before you start. Now we'll correct the way the teeth fit, but if this has a genetic problem, mother, father, or both of them, or some, I've had to go even back to a grandfather, and they would look, their teeth were just like their grandfather, passed it on like that. So here's the way we hook this reverse headgear up, and we're pulling this. Now this will have a slight down pull on it, so it'll move the maxilla kind of in a funny way, but we'll get it across the hump. So here we are at 98, and we're pulling this, and you'll see that these teeth are down, you see, and we're pulling back that way. So the molars are coming down some, but when we slow up on that, then the molars go back up like they were. Okay, here is the reverse headgear that we have this young man wear. These bars come out in front with this strap across the forehead, and this pushes back on the forehead and back on the jaw. And since the rubber bands are closer to the bottom than they are the top, it'll be pushing back on the jaw more than on the forehead up here, and they can stand some of this. Now, if you put too much pressure, you'll hurt the jaw joints back here. You shove the condyle into that retrodiscal tissue too hard, so you have to kind of take it easy on that and realize that that can take place. So there's a lot involved here in doing that. Okay. And there's the way it looked. As this was pulling down, you see these teeth are down, and this is up, and this will come on across. And when we get it out there good, we slack off on it, and then these teeth will go back, and it'll level up again back there. And there we are. See the molars touching, and the teeth jumped over the hump, and they're on that side. And we get the palate as wide as we want it, then we tie it off with this little wire right there, and tie that off, and then leave this palatal separator in for a while. Now the anterior part of the mouth is open now, so you created an open bite when you did that, but when you stop and you get the guy chewing properly, then this will go back. You can see it's just a little bit here. We'll show that to you. All right, there's the palatal separator, and now the lower arch are coming in, and we've lined it up pretty good with just the lip structure and everything. Now we've slacked off on our reverse headgear pull, so these teeth are kind of going back up in this area, and this is leveling out quite good. And this is 98, and we've got him across the hump, and we're going to let him develop and grow ahead and change and watch him closely. I don't have the last part of this case here. We just ended it in the mixed dentition. Here now it's leveled back out again, and here is the young man's first cephalometric x-ray, and we've got another problem in here that probably I hope we corrected. Now this is the adenoid tissue, and a lot of times this kind of squeezes the airway here, and this makes the tongue go down below and they breathe over it. So if this is very big, you don't need to have the ENT guy take that out and maybe get the tonsils that are down in this area. You can't see the tonsils very good, but the adenoid tissue you sure can. And so here he is, a level of 98, and now we get him out there and we build an upper retainer and hold that in place, and then let these teeth come in, these permanent teeth come in, and plan to come back and do a second phase of the orthodontic treatment in this. Here was when we were pulling it out. You see the palatal separator there, and it's angled down here. And then as he goes through gets that, jumps over, then this will go back up and this levels out like that. Let's see. And here this is leveled out now again. This is 99, and he's just at this point, he's nearly 8 years old right now. And we've already done all this kind of work. And I see that he was able to breathe enough through that we didn't get the adenoids out here. And this is him, and this is his teeth right there. And we'll hold him forward like that until the permanent teeth come in, and then you'll follow this case. So this is a two-phase case, and you're going to have to correct the problems that he has, and then stay with it, and hope that he doesn't have any big genetic problems. But if he does, it'll grow out from under it. I don't care what, it has done that. So this is jumped across now, and we'll hold that and we'll come back later and finish him up. So this is leveled down again. That's his retainer that he wears, and that closes that out. And I hope that you get something from this and will subscribe to our channel. We enjoy having you and hope that we'll see you in another videos. I would rather have a class where you have people out there, you can look at them and talk to them and do things. But this is the way it is. And this goes all over the world, really, in many countries. And I hope you're able to use this to help you in your orthodontic work. So thank you, and I want to say goodbye, and I'll close out here.